What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Same Philly Sports History for August 13th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Quick housekeeping note, be sure to check out the latest Back to the Future. We take a look at the Andrew Bynum circus, I guess you could call it, era in Philly. That's Back to the Future with the PH, wherever you get your podcast. Speaking of Sixers, there is an update on the James Harden front. Apparently, the Sixers have ended the trade talks, but he also said he's not coming to camp. So I don't necessarily think this is a surprise, but the fact that it's being reported that they're ending trade talks probably because they're just not getting what they want, and the fact that he says he's not coming to training camp, that's kind of the big news, because I know there's a lot of questions about whether or not he was going to report. There's some language in his contract, so I'm sure at some point he's going to come, and I don't know. This is where I thought this was heading, so it's kind of going down that path and getting messy. Speaking of messy, MessiMania has officially hit the Philadelphia area. The Union will be playing Inter Miami on Tuesday night down at Subaru Park. PhillyGoat.com has a great selection of Union gear. He just sent the email out yesterday reminding, and I forgot, there's some pretty sweet things like jerseys and t-shirts and things like that. So go check them out, and while you're there, buy some Eagle stuff, buy some Philly stuff. They have the new Trey Turner jerseys, the Believe shirts. You name it, they have it. It's great for back to school. Get a couple stickers for your kid's lunchbox or their water bottle or your car, whatever you want. They have it. Go check them out. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. That's PhillyGoat.com. All right, tough one for the Phils. 8-1, they lost. So the other night they were hitting well with runners in scoring position. Last night they went 0 for 10. So there, to me, I mean, it seems pretty obvious. It's pretty fundamental, I guess. But if they're going to hit with runners in scoring position, they're going to do well. If they're not, that's when they run into problems. Tawan Walker wasn't his normal self, and it's okay. You're going to have starts like that every now and then. They still are up 3.5 games in the wild card, 2.5 on San Francisco, but they're back down to being down double digits with the Braves because the Mets are just a terrible, terrible team. But it's all right. They're back in action this afternoon. It's alumni weekend. Hopefully they can get the win today and take that series from the Twins. Eagles news, they did lose. I told you to take, although they did cover the spread. They would have covered, but Baltimore's won 25 straight preseason games. So I said 10 years. I don't think it's quite 10. It's 6 years or so. But they did win. However, a couple of my takeaways, kind of watching some of the highlights and fast forwarding through some of the game. Marcus Mariota was I think you could say this about any team in the league, but I think if Jalen Hurts goes down for any extended period of time, we're in trouble. He did lead them into field goal range on his 2 drives, so at least they were scoring. I don't necessarily think because of the way he looked throwing the ball, though. If he's pressed into some long-term action, it's going to be good. However, Tanner McKee, the guy they just picked up this year in the draft, did look pretty good. Seemed like he was very confident and poised when he was back there throwing, which was good. He's our third team quarterback, but I would not necessarily be surprised depending if, and again, this is all hypothetical, this is all worst case scenario. I think if Jalen goes down, you might see Tanner McKee get some playing time, but let's hope that does not happen. Jalen Carter was in for just a short amount of time, but he was dominant. Had one quarterback hurry, and I'm hoping that this is a sign of things to come for the big guy. But I mean, if that's what we have to look forward to, the future is definitely bright. Special teams were okay. I definitely want to see more consistency, I think, out of them. Sean Bradley getting hurt. I haven't heard any updates on how serious it is, but that could be a huge blow for them. But overall, I mean, communication-wise on defense, they seem good. The offense was a little shaky in the first half with timeouts, but I mean, it's preseason. It's the second team, so third team. It is what it is. But overall, we'll take it. No major injuries. Kind of keeping an eye on Sean Bradley, though. That could be a devastating one, depending on how severe his lower body injury. It's like an NHL injury. But we'll see. Like I said, I'm okay with what I saw yesterday, and just know that if Jalen gets hurt, we're screwed anyway. All right, today we're going to go back to 1972, and on this day in 1972, the Phillies split a doubleheader with the Expos. Game 1, they won 2-1, which Steve Carlton was pitching, and pretty much whenever he pitched in 1972, they won. They did lose Game 2 because obviously anytime Steve Carlton did not pitch, they lost. That was the year they went 59-27, and of the 59 wins, Steve Carlton won 27 of them. That's not even including games he pitched that they ended up winning that he didn't get credit for. But the big story on this game was in between the two games, the Great Wallenda, Carl Wallenda, walked across a cable wire across the vet. Now, as this was like the exact spectacle you think it was. He stopped halfway to do a headstand, like on a little small wire. But then afterwards, in the after press conference, he said he realized that the rope was not taut enough as soon as he stepped on it, and there was really not much he could do. Like, he could have stopped and had them tighten the rope, but he said, screw it. We're going through and doing it anyway. Yikes. But on this day, the Phillies split the doubleheader with the Expos, but one of the greatest spectacles at the vet was when the Great Wallenda walked across I guess you call it the length of the stadium from one end to the other, doing a headstand halfway in between. So that's pretty cool. If you want more Phillies coverage, check out our friends at 2008 Phils. They have the world's largest email Phillies newsletter. Currently, they are offering 75% off a subscription to This Day in Philly Sports History's listeners. So go check out the link in the description for your discount. Get you access to everything they have on their site. You get the 2008 World Series banner t-shirt. 2008 Phils will follow your Twitter account, which I've been saying is great because you're able to grow your brand, and it's just a good follow anyway. And then you also, it's $2 a month. You get access to giveaways. I keep talking about it, and I got to figure out a way to get my hands on one, the powder blue 1980 shirt. But like I said, $2 a month, $20 for the year. It's worth it. Go check them out. Follow the link in the description. All right, 31 questions in 31 days for the Eagles here in August. And this is a pretty simple one, I think. But we talked a lot about the special teams units yesterday, and I still want to see more out of them. Today, let's talk about the kicking game. And I think from a place kicker standpoint, Jake Elliott is one of the best. They're fine. Last year, kind of went unnoticed because they went for a lot of fourth down conversions, and they went like 4th and 1 where they could have kicked field goals. They went for it with the quarterback sneak. So kind of unnoticed. He had a solid season last year, and again, he's one of the best and has been since he broke onto the scene with the Eagles. So I'm not really concerned about kicking. It's just a matter of how many opportunities for field goals he's going to get. Extra points, he's fine. I think he actually he was better kicking field goals than extra points last year, ironically. But as far as kicker, we're good. There is a battle going on for punter between Aaron Sippis and Ty Zettner. And after yesterday's game, it seems like it's still pretty even. If I had to make a thing based on the fact that Zettner cannot necessarily he's not able to take Sippis' spot yet, I think that's ultimately going to be who our punter is. But We'll see. This is the one aspect of special teams, again, that I'm not concerned about. I think we're going to be fine. So it's not really a question, I guess, as much as a preview. The question, I guess, would be who's going to win the punter. But I would say probably the incumbent Aaron Sippis is probably going to be the punter unless he gets injured or just has a horrible showing in the last 2 preseason games. But that is our 31 questions for 31 days for the Eagles. On this day back in 1972, the Phillies split a doubleheader with the Expos. The Great Wallenda walked the length of the vet in between the games, even though the rope was a little not taut, I guess you could say. Eagles looked pretty solid yesterday, the second team. Sixers, who knows what's going to happen with the Harden trade. But now we know kind of what position both sides are taking. They're saying they're not trading him. He's saying I'm not coming to camp. How are they going to come together? Phils look to win that series against the Twins this afternoon on Alumni Weekend. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. Go check out our friends at Philly Goat and 2008 Phils. Enjoy your lovely Sunday. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. And until next time, I will see you when I see you.